Hello and welcome to learn your first 50 kanji in 1 hour. Our first kanji here means day or sun. It does resemble a door, and as that we want to remember it. The door, when we open the door in the morning, we go outside. It's a beautiful day, no clouds, just sunshine. We open the door in the morning, the day begins, the sun is shining, and that's how we want to remember this kanji. First of all, let me explain to you the difference between the kun reading and the on reading. We use the kun reading when the kanji is standing alone in the sentence, when he's isolated. However, if he's in combination with other kanjis and creating different words with different meanings, then we use the on reading. So for now, we want just to focus on the kun reading. This kanji is pronounced as he and not as the English hi. However, we can use hi to remember it. For example, hi, isn't it a nice day? On the other hand, the on reading nichi is used, like I previously said, in combination with different kanjis. For example, you might have heard it in konnichiwa, hello, good day. There we have nichi. However, like I said before, for now we will just focus on the kun reading. And later when we start doing the combination, we will also do the on readings. Let's move on to the next kanji. This symbol means stop or halt. Now, what would be a good way to remember this symbol? Well, the upper part of this kanji resembles a person who is trying to stop something, somebody, or a vehicle that is approaching from that side. There might have been an incident or an accident behind him, and he wants to make sure that anything that's approaching him from this side stops. Now, the kun reading for this kanji is tomaru. We can remember this by giving this person a name, the one who's standing there. We call him Tom because of tomaru, and Tom stops somebody, right? Let's move on to the next kanji. This is the symbol for eyes, eye, eyeball, vision, look, and so on. We can remember it as eyes who are presented vertically. We have the left eye, we have the right eye, and we have naturally some space between, like it's usually the case. The kun reading for this kanji is me. A good way to remember this me is by using me. For example, in the sentence, look towards me. This includes look and me, even though we actually pronounce it as me. Let's continue. This symbol represents place, spot, scene, and it actually consists out of two smaller parts. To the left side we have the Roman alphabet letter P, which also is included in place. So this is already a good point. Another P, a lot of P's today. On the right part, on the right side, we have something that resembles a tower, a guard tower, doesn't it? And what's a guard tower good for? Well, you have a great overview over the place, over the spot, over the scene. Now, the kun reading for place, spot, scene is tokoro. How could we remember this effectively? Well, Tokyo is actually a rather interesting place. It has interesting spots and a beautiful scenery. So we could remember it through Tokyo, tokoro. Let's move on. This is the kanji for house, home. It is also included in family, for kazoku, for example. However, how do we remember this? Well, the upper part is rather easy because it looks like a roof. Now, the lower part, let's think. We are at home. Let's say we are alone and we want to throw a party. And what does every party need, at least the good ones? It needs a person who's doing a knee slide, right? Exactly. No good party, no good house party without a knee slide. Now, the kun reading for house, home, is ie. Well, ie is actually also the negation in Japanese. Means like not, like, for example, ie chigao. No, it's different. No, it's not like that. So you could remember this by binding actually two. You learn two in one, because you could say, for example, no, he's not at home. No and home, ie. All right, before I proceed, let me first tell you that we have here a combination of kanji and hiragana. Now, what's this all about? The Japanese language uses actually three different systems for writing. We have the katakana, we have 46 katakana letters, and we also have 46 hiragana letters. And then, of course, we have tons of kanji, which are originally from China, but that's a different story. Now, what's of greater interest for us is the kanji on the left, and it means to leave or to go out. Now, what does it resemble? Well, doesn't it look like a turtle, a land turtle? It moves slowly but steadily, and it's going to leave at some point. Maybe it's home, or maybe it's leaving its previous place to find food, but it's constantly moving, right? Well, maybe not constantly, but it's moving a lot. Now, this is called deru. This is rather easy to remember, because don't you dare to leave without putting on your jacket. That would be an example sentence for remembering deru, to leave. On the right side, we again have the hiragana for ru, and on the left side we have the kanji that represents to see or to watch. Well, it looks like a mirror, the upper part, doesn't it? And it's actually quite easy to remember it again, because it's pronounced miru. And what is miru good for? Well, you can see yourself in the mirror. That's how we can remember miru. Let's move on. This is the kanji for mouth. It's a rather simple kanji because it's just a square. And it does resemble a mouth, doesn't it? Well, this fella does seem to have a good time, for whatever reason. How do we pronounce mouth in Japanese? The kun reading is kuchi. And how could we remember kuchi for mouth? Well, for example, we could combine ku and chi and get cool, chilling voice. This person has a cool and chilling voice. And what does this have to do with the mouth? Well, you need, among other things, you need the mouth to produce a voice. Kuchi for mouth. Just a simple square. Here we have the kanji for word, or say, to say something. And it's also rather easy to remember it, because the upper part is just text, 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 and more text. For example, like the page inside the book. On the other hand, the lower part resembles our mouth, the one that we covered previously. And in combination, we get the kanji for say, or word. Now, its kun reading is pronounced iu. However, with the modification, it becomes imas, imashita, itte, itta, and so on. So you want to remember the i here as the starting point. And that's rather easy, because you can set it as I have to say something, or I have a word to say, and thus you can remember the starting letter E for iu. This kanji means to talk, and it contains several already known symbols for us. It should be known, because the left side is again just the mouth. The lower part resembles again the mouth, and the whole symbol on the left is the kanji for say and word. Thus, what's the last part? The last part, the right part of this kanji, is the kanji for tongue, and it has a huge T inside. And in combination, we have mouth, word, tongue, and what can we do with the mouth, the tongue, and words? We can talk. We can tell a tale. We can talk all day long. To talk or to speak is pronounced as hanasu. On the right side, we have the hiragana for su, and a good way to remember this is to use the name Hanna. Hanna loves to talk about a favorite book. Our next kanji means rice field, and from the bird perspective, this is what a rice field looks like. Rice fields are typically lined up into square-like shapes, like these. And the kun reading for this kanji is ta. Now, how could we relate ta to rice field? Well, let's say, for example, we are looking for a rice field and somebody has found one. And how is he going to suggest that he has found one? Ta-da! There you have your rice field. Rice field, ta-da! Let's move on. This is the kanji for heart, mind, or spirit. And you could remember it by associating the central symbol with the heart itself, with the organ. And what is the main function of the heart? It's to transport blood through our whole body. We can remember the 3 strokes around the central symbol as blood vessels who are transporting the blood. And the kun reading for heart and mind is kokoro. How do we remember kokoro? Well, for example, my mind and heart desire some coconut, so I'm going to buy some coconut. Kokoro, heart and mind. On the right side, we have the hiragana for u, and on the left side, we have the kanji for thought or think. And it should look somewhat familiar, because we already know the top symbol, which is again representing rice field, and the bottom side symbol of this kanji means heart and mind, and together they combine into to think or to consider. To think or to consider is being pronounced as omo, and later can be modified into omoimasu, omoimashita. Thus we can remember it like this. Oh my, what interesting thoughts. Or, oh my, I never thought about that. Here we have again the hiragana for u on the right side, and on the left side we have the kanji that represents buy, buying something, to buy something. Now, if you have watched lesson number 1, then the lower part of this symbol should look somewhat familiar because it resembles miru, to see. Now, how can we combine this with the box above to get to buy? Well, for example, look here, see this. I bought 3 boxes of apples. To buy is pronounced as cow, and a good way to bind cow, the 3 boxes, and to buy into one sentence is like this. The cowboy bought 3 boxes of apples. Our next symbol means big or large, and we can remember it by imagining a big and large person standing. This person also has a big and large head, which is also nice for remembering it. Now, the kun reading is O, and we can remember it like this. Oh, isn't this a large building? Our next kanji represents sky or heaven, and except for the line at the very top, it looks exactly like a previous kanji, large or big. So the last line at the top you could see it as some kind of barrier, because it's not that simple to reach the sky. You can't just jump up and here we are. Thus, you can see it as a last barrier. And this is also an exception, because we don't use the kun reading that much for this kanji. Ame in more than 90% of the cases is representing rain. Thus, we use in most cases 10 for sky and heavens. Well, a good way to remember 10 is like this. I put up a tent so I can watch the sky. Now, the tent better be transparent or you won't see much of the sky, but if it's a cold night or cold day in general, then you want to have a tent to keep you warm. Also, this symbol particularly looks like a tent, so it all fits together. Let's move on. This is the kanji for tree. And if you can't see the reference to the kanji big, then I would recommend you to watch this video again, because it definitely has the symbol big inside. Now, this is a big tree, and like any tree, it has a stem and branches. Thus, remember it this way. Now, the kun reading is ki, which among other things can also mean spirit or energy, but it also represents tree or wood. A good way to remember ki for tree is by associating it with clean air, because trees are known to clean the air. Ki for tree or wood. This is the kanji for book, and yes, it does resemble the tree kanji without one exception. It has a small line at the bottom. Now, how did they make the connection between wood or tree and book? Well, that's rather easy. I mean, paper is made from trees, and what does it include paper? Books do. Now, here's the logic. Tree, paper, paper, book. Now, the kun reading is motto. And again, the same thing as with the sky kanji. The kun reading is not used for book. Motto stands for mainly for origin or source. Thus, we use the on reading for book, and that's hon. Now, how do we remember hon for book? Well, for example, honey, please pass me this book. Our next kanji represents spring or springtime. And if you have watched lesson number 1, then the bottom side symbol should be familiar, because it stands for day or sun. And yes, the top side symbol stands again for a good old friend, the tree. And well, the connection between day and wood or tree and spring is rather logical, right? Because there are many trees that bloom in the spring. For example, the cherry blossom sakura usually blooms in March. The kun reading for spring or springtime is haru. And we can remember it like this. In spring, I usually get a new hairstyle, haru. On the right side, we have the hiragana for tsu. On the left side, we have the kanji for stand, to rise. And you can remember it as a cup of coffee that stands on the table. And to rise, you can remember it as the heat that rises up from the hot coffee. Now, it's pronounced as tatsu. And you can remember it like this. Let's stand up and dance. Tatsu. To stand or to rise. Here we have the kanji that stands for night or nighttime. And it contains several smaller symbols. The symbol on the left is very similar to the I katakana, while the symbol on the right looks like a cup of glass. And we can associate these two symbols with night or nighttime in following sentence. I wash the glasses at night. Maybe I have more time at night. Or it's generally more convenient for me. Either way, I wash the glasses at night. That's how we want to remember these symbols for the kanji night. The kun reading for night is yoru, and we can remember it like this. You are getting sleepy at night. Yoru, night or nighttime. This is the kanji for winter. And again, we have the cup of glass at the top, and on the bottom, the two strokes on the bottom, we can imagine them to be a pile of snow because it's winter, so why not? Pile of snow. Now, to bind this, we can use following sentence. When winter arrives, we can put a glass of water on a pile of snow. Now, why would we do that? Well, maybe you want to create your own ice. However, if you intend to drink it later on, then maybe you want to put a lid on the glass just in case. Just in case. Now, the kun reading for winter is fuyu. And assuming that you prefer winter, you can remember it like this. For you, winter must be convenient because you prefer winter. Our next kanji represents ear or hearing. So let's assume you want to contact the person who's on a very high spot, and that person's phone doesn't work. Neither do you have any other means to get in touch with that person. Thus, what do? You get a ladder. You get a ladder, climb up, and the likeliness that said person will hear you increases significantly. The kun reading for ear is mimi, and to me that sounds like some kind of warm-up for singing, like mimi mimi, that kind of thing. Our next kanji represents to take or to pick up, and on the right side we have a good old friend, the hiragana for ru, and on the left side we have the kanji for pick up or to take. Now, the ladder symbol on the left resembles our previous kanji for ear or hearing. Thus, we want to associate it with it. And on the right side, we again have a cup of glass. And to help us to remember this kanji, we can put all these symbols inside following sentence. Hear me out. Please listen to this. Can you do me a huge favor and take that glass and put it inside the dishwasher? To take or to pick up is pronounced as toru. And here our friend Thor comes in handy. Thor with the hammer, of course. Who else? Thor takes his hammer and goes wherever he wants to go because he's Thor after all. Following kanji means car or vehicle, and once you set the 4 tires that your average car should have, it really starts to resemble a car. The kun reading for car or vehicle is kuruma, and you can remember it like this. The cooler in my car doesn't work. Kuruma, cooler in my car. Our next kanji represents same or identical. And on the right side we have the hiragana for G. If we would remove the 2 strokes at the top of this symbol, we would get the hiragana for shi. And if we would draw a line through the middle of this kanji, we would get a so-called mirror image. And again, it would be same, both sides would be same or identical. we pronounce same or identical as onaji. The ji comes from the hiragana to the right. And we can bind it into following sentence to remember onaji for same or identical. Are these two similar? Are they the same? Oh no, not at all. They are not same at all. Onaji, same or identical. Following kanji means to enjoy. And the hiragana to the right stands for mu. The hiragana in the middle stands for shi. And like I said before, our kanji to the left stands for to enjoy. To enjoy is pronounced as tanoshimu, and you can remember it through following sentence. Dancing tango is a lot of fun. Tanoshimu tango, for fun. Our next kanji means to show or to display. Now the hiragana to the right, by now it should be known if you have watched the last 3 lessons, it stands for ru. The hiragana in the center stands for se. And the kanji to the left is a good old friend, the miru, to see or to look at. However, in this form it's miseru, and it means not to see but to show, to display. Here we have the kanji for year, and we can associate this symbol with a calendar. It may not be the best looking calendar out there, but it fulfills its job, and that's the whole point. The kun reading for year is toshi, and here is how you can remember toshi for year. A knight's duty is to shield the princess all year long. Toshi, to shield, year. Here we have that stands for to make or to produce. Again, we have the hiragana ru on the right side, and on the left side we have our kanji. This kanji includes the somewhat similar looking symbol for the katakana I. And it also has the line for the Roman alphabet letter I. So usually we bind this kind of symbol to a sentence with I. It makes things easier to remember because it repeats itself very often, this symbol, in dozens and dozens, and if not even more than hundreds of kanjis. So we want to associate it with I in an example sentence. Now the symbol to the right is very similar to our previous kanji, the kanji for year, except that the left side misses 2 strokes. Thus, we want to associate it with half a year. Here is an example sentence that helps us remembering this kanji. I need half a year to create this product. To make or to produce is pronounced as tsukuru. And again, a good sentence for remembering tsukuru, for to make or to produce, is I made some zucchini pasta. Oishii. This is the kanji for high or tall. And what we have here is a blue box inside a black box, which is again in a yellow box, and above that, who would have guessed it, another box. Essentially, this is a high or tall tower made up of boxes. And we pronounce it as takai. A good way to remember takai for high or tall is too high, it's too high, takai. For example, we can't reach it because it's too high, takai, for high or tall. Our next kanji stands for soil, earth or ground. We can imagine the line at the very bottom to be the soil or earth itself, while on the other hand our plant is covering the upper part of this kanji. The kun reading for soil, earth, ground is tsuchi, and a good way to memorize tsuchi for earth or ground is too chilly. It's too cold to sit on the ground. Too chilly. Tsuchi, earth or ground. Here we have the kanji standing for thing or matter. And to me, this looks like a very upset boss. And you know how nagging bosses are, saying things like, "What's the matter now? It's always the same thing with you." A very easy way to remember thing and matter. The kun reading is koto, and we can memorize thing or matter or koto with this example sentence. Control is the main thing. Koto for thing or matter. Here we have two kanji who together create a single word. That word is work or job. And we have our old friend, the nagging boss, to the right. Today he seems more annoyed than he usually is. Must be because I was slacking off at work again. Oops. Either way, let us continue with the kanji to the left, who on its own can also stand for doing something, doing a job, serving somewhere, and so on. This kanji contains the I katakana within its symbols. On the other hand, the symbol to the right represents our previously covered kanji for soil, earth, or ground. And in combination, we spell these two kanjis together as shigoto, which stands for work or job. A good way to memorize this is through following example sentence. She goes to her job. Shigoto, work or job. This is the kanji that stands for woman or female. And since this symbol looks exactly like a football player who is about to shoot the football inside the goal, we can remember it this way. The kun reading for woman or female is onna, and following sentence can help us remembering this. Is she a new player? Oh no, she's a regular player. Onna for woman or female. Here we have again a combination of hiragana and kanji. The hiragana to the right stands for ru, the hiragana in the middle stands for me, and the kanji to the left represents to start or to begin. And within this kanji we have several smaller symbols. Among these we already know a few, for example the onna symbol for woman or female. Additionally, from lesson 1 we know the symbol for mouth that can also represent to speak or to talk. The last part of this kanji is the katakana for mu, and this symbol repeats itself quite often within many kanjis. Thus we want to have some kind of reference for it. And so whenever we have this symbol within a kanji, in our example sentence we want to have a mai integrated for mu. Thus we can create an example sentence with these three symbols, the katakana for mu, the female kanji and the mouth kanji, to get to to begin or to start. We're following example sentence. My sister started to work as an announcer. Its pronunciation is Hajimeru. And we can remember Hajimeru through following example. Have the gym lessons already begun? Haji, have the gym lessons already begun. Hajimeru. Here we again have the hiragana for ru to the right, and to the left we have the kanji standing for to protect or to guard. And we can imagine it to be a person who is guarding itself or somebody else with a shield. We pronounce to protect or to guard as mamoru, and it's fairly easy to remember because we can set it as the mother protects its child. Mamoru for to protect or to guard. To the right side we have the hiragana for tsu, and to the left we have the kanji that represents to hold or to have. And within this kanji we have several smaller symbols. The symbol to the left on its own doesn't actually mean anything. However, it repeats itself like the mu katakana very often within other structures of kanjis, and thus we want to create again a reference for it within our example sentences. In this case, it's going to be teting is. Why teting? Because from all the Roman alphabet letters, it resembles the small t the most. However, before we proceed with the example, let's first analyze the other parts of this kanji. It again contains the kanji for soil, earth or ground at the top, and at the bottom the previous kanji for to protect. We can bind all these symbols together in the following sentence. The thing is, to hold your ground, you must protect your ground. For example, within a team sport. To hold or to have is pronounced as motsu, and through inflection it can transform into mochimas or mochimashita, and thus we can easily remember it as too much. He won't be able to hold it, it's too much. This is the kanji that represents the word now, right now, or immediately. And to me, this looks like a house. At the very top we have the roof, and the structure below resembles a facade of a house. Thus, we want to remember this kanji by implementing the words house and now in a single example sentence. Right now, I'm inside the house. And the convenient thing here is that the kun reading for now, right now, is ima, which fits perfectly into our example sentence. Right now, I am inside the house. I am ima. Right now, I'm inside the house. This kanji stands for new, something new. And to the right we have the hiragana for I. In the center we have the hiragana for shi. And to the left we have the kanji for new. And within this kanji we have several symbols that actually may look familiar. For example, to stand, we learned this kanji in lesson number 2. Additionally, we have the tree that was also covered in lesson number 2. And last but not least, we have place, spot or scene kanji, at least part of it. And if you remember correctly from lesson number 1, the place, spot, scene kanji, we wanted to reference this symbol as a tower, or more specific as a guard tower. Because what's a tower good for? Well, you have a great overview over the place or the spot or over the scene. Thus, if we put all these three symbols together, we can combine it in following sentence. The new guard tower stands right next to the tree. And the good thing about learning kanji this way is that sometimes just remembering fragments or single parts of it can help you recognize this kanji. For example, we see the symbol that resembles a guard tower and we see a tree and we think to ourselves, wait, I know this kanji from somewhere. What was this about? There was something about a guard tower next to a tree. Oh yeah, the new guard tower next to the tree. And that's the beauty of this methodology, that sometimes just fragments can help you remember the whole kanji. We pronounce new as atarashi, and we can remember it like this. And there she was, wearing a brand new dress, atarashi for new. On the right side, we have the hiragana for I, and on the left side, we have the kanji for many. And within this kanji, we have a lot of butterflies flying all over the place. Actually, it appears as if the butterflies are about to fly away with a kanji. The pronunciation for many is oi, prolonged o, oi. Imagine you're playing an RPG and you are with your party inside the dungeon. All of a sudden, a lot of many NPCs are coming right towards you, attacking you. What's your party leader going to say? Oi, 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 oi. Let's get out of here. That's what he's gonna say. Our next kanji means long, also used within length. On the right side, we again have the hiragana for I, and to the left, we have the kanji for long. This symbol particularly looks like a measuring tool, for example, like a caliper, or maybe even an ancient Egyptian measuring tool, who knows? Either way, we want to remember it as a measuring tool because what do we measure? We measure the length between usually the two objects or 2 points. That's how we want to remember the symbol for long. We pronounce long as nagai. We can remember nagai through long distance navigation. Why long distance navigation? Well, first off, nagai, navigation, nagai, and on the other hand, long, because nagai stands for long. Thus, long distance navigation. Here again, we have the hiragana for I to the right, and on the left side, we have the kanji for wide or spacious. And within this kanji, we have two main structures. The first structure has a roof at the very top, and to the left side it has a wall. And this symbol appears very often within many different kanjis. Thus we want to have some kind of reference for it whenever we see this symbol. And since it's also included within the roof kanji and the house kanji that we will cover later in another lesson, we want to reference it whenever we see it with room or building or roof in general. The second symbol within the wide, spacious kanji is the mu katakana. Like it was mentioned in the previous lessons, we want to associate the mu katakana with a mai within our example sentence. For example, in this case, we have the mu katakana for mai, we have the roof or room part of the kanji, and we have the whole kanji means wide and spacious. Thus, the example sentence would be, my room is spacious. We combined all three things within one short sentence, easily remembering this kanji. My room is spacious. We pronounce wide or spacious as hiroi. And a good way to remember hiroi for wide or spacious is the hero has wide shoulders. Why? Because he works out 5 hours per day. This is the kanji for short or small. And it looks like a person who's skiing using short skis. Why short skis? Well, long skis are great for high-speed racing, while short skis are ideal for jumps and deep snow skiing. We have the left hand, we have the right hand, we have the body in the mid, we have even a slope that is covered with snow, and of course we have the short, small skis. The kun reading for small is chisai, and we can memorize chisai through following example sentence. The child says chisai. The child says it doesn't want to be small, like all children. They want to be big. And the on reading is also used on its own to represent small. Easily remembered because sho. Sho, we can memorize it as short or small. This is a slight modification of a previous kanji, and it means not enough or insufficient. We have the i to the right, the na hiragana in the middle, and of course a short or small kanji to the left. And it means few or even insufficient, not enough. Why few, insufficient? Well, like I said, small, short on the left side, and tenai is the Japanese negation. It means not, which is usually added at the very end of the sentence. We pronounce insufficient or not enough as sukunai, and like I said, nai is the negation, and suku, we can remember it like ski nai. There won't be any skiing because there is not enough snow on the slope. Here we have the kanji for gate, and this kanji particularly resembles a traditional Japanese gate, which are usually found at either the entrance or within the Shinto shrine. You might have seen it. If not, feel free to Google it and you will see the resemblance. We do not use the kun reading for gate because kado stands actually for corner, mainly for corner. We use the on reading for gate when talking about the gate, which is mon. And this is easy to remember because we have the gate that, like I said, is usually placed in front of a Shinto shrine. And who else is within the shrine? Usually a monk. Thus mon. Gate mon. To the right side, we have the hiragana for ku, and to the left, we have the kanji for to hear or to listen. And as you can see, it includes a previous kanji for gate, with the addition that it also in the middle has the kanji for ear. We have mentioned the ear kanji in lesson number 3. And in combination, we have the ear and the gate, and together we get to hear or to listen. We pronounce to hear or to listen as kiku, and a good way to remember this is by, did you hear the kickoff? Let's say, for example, we are at the football game and the kickoff is about to start. The game is about to begin. Thus, I ask you, did you hear the kick-off? Kiku, to hear. This kanji stands for space or interval. And as you can see, we again have the gate structure within it. With the difference that this time in the middle we have also the dei kanji, which is mentioned in lesson number 1. And in combination we have the dei and the gate, and we get space or interval. The kun reading for space or interval is aida. And we can remember it with a philosophical question actually. What's the big idea behind space? Who said philosophical questions are not allowed for remembering kanji? This particular kanji stands for time, and within its structure it has the dei kanji at the left side that we covered in lesson number 1, and it also has the to protect or to save kanji that we covered in lesson number 4. To protect or to save, it can mean both. And how do we remember, how do we connect these two symbols to time? Well, for example, daylight saving time. Daylight, day kanji, saving to protect kanji, and time, the combination we get time. Daylight, saving, time. Now the kun reading is toki, and that's rather easy to remember because we can associate it to tick tock, time, toki. The kanji to the left, we covered it previously, it stands for time, and the kanji to the right stands for interval. And together we have time, interval for time is an hour. Together we get an hour. We pronounce an hour as jikan. We can remember jikan with following sentence. The giant can't make it in time. Jikan, giant can't make it in time. Why? Because, well, maybe he is too big to cross the door or he gets stuck in traffic. Who knows? Either way, the giant can't make it in time. Jikan. I hope you enjoyed learning your first 50 kanji, and if you want to learn more, then subscribe to this channel so that you never miss a new lesson. See you soon.